Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. With Incredibles 2 on its way, I've got Pixar on the mind, and considering it's been 14 years since the amazing first movie, I'm thinking a lot of you might be itching to see what the new film has in store. But in the meantime, I think it's time for a walk down memory lane as we talk about some of my favorite villains from Pixar movies. Of course, there are a lot, so I can't name them all. If I miss your favorite, I'm sorry, but if you tell everyone about your favorite in the comments, maybe we can do a part 2 and include some more. If you finish this and want more Incredibles action, check out our video on Jack Jack vs. Baby Groot next. But first, get ready, it's time for the top 10 Pixar villains. Number 10. Al from Toy Story 2. Al is a greedy toy collector from Toy Story 2 who stole Woody from the garage sale after Andy's mom refused to sell him. He needed the doll to complete his Woody's Roundup collection, which he was planning to sell to a Japanese toy museum for a fortune. Shockingly, he's also just a straight up weird person who owns a toy store named Al's Toy Barn and dresses up as a chicken to promote it. And my goodness, does he ever look exactly like the kind of guy who would do all that. Keep waiting for him to tip his fedora. That said, of all the villains on this list, Al is one of the ones I have the most sympathy for. Don't get me wrong, he's a jerk and he deserved what he got. But I look at him and I think, if a few things had gone wrong in my life, I totally could have ended up like that, and that's kind of freaky. Number 9. Otto from WALL-E. I actually didn't see WALL-E until last year when I saw it on a plane, and it kind of blew my mind. The visuals were great, the story was compelling, and the villain was really different, even though we didn't really know who it was for most of the film. Otto is the autopilot of the ship, and even though a human is at the helm, Otto is the one who's really in charge. Even when Captain B. McCree tries to take command, Otto overrides his commands to prevent the ship from returning to Earth. Turns out that Shelby Forthright, the CEO of By and Large, had ordered the autopilots to deny any attempt at returning to Earth, and Otto took this very seriously, despite evidence of life returning to Earth. It was really neat seeing robots fight against other robots, seeing Otto mindlessly following orders while WALL-E struggles to do the right thing. So yeah, Otto is a bit of a different kind of villain because it really was just following orders, not trying to be a jerk. But still, it's the antagonist and a pretty interesting one at that. Number 8. Charles F. MUNTZ from Up. Ugh. Screw this, just mentioning Up gets me all emotional. That montage was heartbreaking. Anyway, gotta work through the tears here. Charles MUNTZ was the main villain of Up. He was a famous explorer. When he wasn't out hunting rare specimens for museums, he was inventing devices that let him talk to dogs. Carl and Ellie loved him growing up. Gotta stop bringing up Ellie. Sadly, after being falsely accused of faking a discovery, a giant bird he called the Monster of Paradise Falls, he was thrown out of the National Explorers Society. He vowed to prove them wrong, and in the following years he became pretty paranoid and a bit insane. This was pretty rough in the movie. Carl had already lost his wife, and then he lost his idol. But it was a pretty good lesson in not meeting your hero. And if that's not enough for you, MUNTZ was voiced by Christopher Plummer, who's probably the most legit Canadian actor of all time. So that's pretty sweet. Number 7. Randall from Monsters Inc. You know right from the get-go that Randall is going to be evil because his name is Randall. Never has someone named Randall been good. Randy? Sure, but not Randall. Just look at Recess. But if the name doesn't tip you off, his looks make it pretty clear that he's a baddie, and one that gave kids a whole whack of nightmares. Randall is a color-changing chameleon monster voiced by Steve Buscemi. He's Sully's biggest scaring rival, and he works throughout the film to sabotage Sully and boost his own scares. This leads him to build the disturbing Scream Extractor, which was created to collect screams faster and more brutally than simply scaring kids, because kids were getting way too jaded. He kidnaps Boo to test the extractor, but thankfully Sully is the bomb and Randall loses. Stupid Randall. I'd also like to apologize to any Randalls out there. I'm sure you're fine gents. Number 6. Sid from Toy Story. The Toy Story series had some pretty great villains over the years, but there's always gotta be a place in my heart for Sid. He was just so twisted, so sadistic, and the bully aspect was super relatable to a young, nerdy, unpopular Ron. While other villains had more depth and had a few surprises up their sleeves, Sid was just a jerk. But he was a jerk with a freaky sense of fun who enjoyed taking toys apart and putting them together in weird ways. It's really strange, but that said, does anyone else find his creations kinda cool as they get older? Or am I just a maniac? because that baby spider thing is pretty sick, albeit in every sense of the word. Oh, also, in case you somehow missed this, we got a glimpse of Sid in the third movie, rocking out while working as a garbage man, which I think was meant as a dig towards Sid, with Andy going off to college while Sid's stuck as a garbage man. But hey, I don't judge, nothing wrong with being a garbage man, and you know what? He seems happy. So good for him. Number 5. Hopper from A Bug's Life. Feels just a wee bit weird putting Hopper on this list because he was voiced by Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey isn't exactly popular right now. So to be clear, this point is just about Hopper. I'm not condoning the actions of Spacey, although I will say he did a bang-up job voicing this villain. Hopper was the brutal and cunning leader of the Grasshoppers and the main baddie in A Bug's Life, which came out in 1998. Damn, I'm old. He can be very hot-headed, but he's also very intelligent. He understands that grasshoppers maintain control through fear, and that if the far more numerous ants did revolt, they'd be in trouble. Just a really cool, interesting, and intelligent villain. And fun fact, Hopper was actually the first Pixar villain to die. Also, as a side note, did anyone have one of those Bugs Life security systems? It was a Flick one and a Hopper one. I had Flick, and I thought it was so cool, and so great for scaring the crap out of my family. Let me know in the comments if you had one. Let's bond over this. Number 4. Mordu from Brave. Yeah, Mordu is just plain badass. He would probably be on this list even if he didn't have a cool story, but as luck would have it, he does. Mordu was once a prince who, in search of power, made a deal with a witch that gave him the strength of 10 men. But this power came at a price. It turned him into a bear, causing him to murder his family, which caused the kingdom to crumble. As the years went by, Mordu lived on, becoming the beastly villain we eventually saw in Brave. Even though he never actually speaks in the movie, we really get a great look at his inner workings just from his actions. Plus, and I can't say this enough, he's so much cooler than the other villains. Except, maybe, number 3, Bruce from Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo has a few characters who could arguably be considered villains, but Bruce, named after the mechanical shark from Jaws, is definitely the coolest and the funniest. Okay, I'm in love with Bruce. Bruce is the leader of a group of sharks who are learning not to eat fish thanks to their mantra,
I am a nice shark, not a mindless eating machine. If I am to change this image, I must first change myself. Fish are friends, not food.
They're basically Alcoholics Anonymous for fish eaters, and it's totally endearing. Unfortunately, when he smells blood, he's unable to fight his natural instincts, and he starts chasing after Marlin and Dory, turning Bruce into a kind of reluctant villain. But Bruce follows an interesting trajectory, where at first we think he's evil, then it turns out he's good, but then he goes crazy and gets evil again. It was kind of a nice little change from the usual Pixar thing of, oh hello there, I'm a kindly fella, you can trust me, oh no wait, you can't, ah. And I've said Bruce a lot just now. Anyone getting Monty Python vibes?
Hey, Bruce!
Oh, hello, Bruce!
How are you, Bruce?
Big crook, Bruce!
Where's Bruce?
It's not here, Bruce!
Number 2. Syndrome from The Incredibles. Yeah, Syndrome had to be on here. As a boy, Buddy Pine wanted nothing more than to be a superhero, which led him to ask Bob Parr to take him on as a sidekick named Incrediboy. But after being turned down because he was a kid, Buddy decided to prove himself to his hero. Despite not having any real superpowers, Buddy was an ace with technology. Managed to turn himself super with his brain. Kind of like a villainous, annoying Iron Man. I gotta say, Syndrome's in a really weird spot for me. On the one hand, he's clearly a great villain, and he very nearly won thanks to his amazing inventions. On the other hand, he's just so annoying. Every time he opens his mouth, whether it's the whiny tone or the whining words, I just want to slap him in his stupid whiny face. And I'm not sure if that makes him a better villain or a worse villain. All I know is he's a damn good one. Number 1. LOTSO from Toy Story 3. LOTSO Huggin' Bear was the leader of the daycare toys, and when Woody and the gang first arrived, seemed like such a bro! The benevolent leader of this ragtag group of toys at a daycare. What could go wrong? Now, it could turn out that he was a power-hungry maniac who ruled with an iron fist and didn't want anyone to find a home. Then it did. Turns out Lotso was less the big daddy of the daycare and more the godfather of the daycare. But he was so interesting because his reasons were clear, unlike Sid or Zurg, who were kind of just buttholes. He didn't trust humans anymore ever since a bad experience with his first owner. She lost him, and when he worked his butt off and made his way back to her house, he found that her parents had gotten her a new Lotso Huggin' Bear. So when he crosses a line, he's not doing it to be evil per se, he just has trust issues. Sure, he was a bit sadistic, as so many Pixar villains are, but everything he did was, as far as he was concerned, for the good of everyone. Also, he smelled like strawberries. Just thought you ought to know. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please smack the thumbs up button and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more videos. Don't want to miss another video? Click the bell icon to join the notification squad so you know every time we upload a video. And if you want a sweet playlist to watch so you can just relax and let the nerdiness wash over you, check out our Top 10 alternate versions playlist on the channel. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.